Hello, students. Welcome back to the last but one topic of your fifth unit in operations research, which is nothing but game theory. Okay, what do you know game theory? Isn't it? Generally, a game means we will be recalling various kinds of sports and games like cricket, hockey, volleyball, chess. Okay, like so many other types of games are there. Now, how come this game theory related to our business decision making? Just like in a game, how the players compete to win over on each other, in business also what happens, various opponents, competitors, isn't it, will be fighting to win over on each other. Truly speaking, a business world is just like a war, battleground. But here what you will not find the corpse or else bloodshedding, but more than the damage will be taking place. So, taking those situations, only John Vanuman, a famous mathematician, developed this concept, isn't it? What do you call this one as a game theory? What is a game? A game is nothing but it's a conflicting situation. So here I am going to discuss the various fundamentals or the definitions of the game theory. Now all of you look at here. Okay. Now what is a game? A game is nothing but the confliction. CONFLICTION. So confliction of thoughts or ideas of two opponents in order to win over on each other. So small mistakes are there. This is your senior notes, isn't it? So here what is the correction? Confliction should be there. But here what is that? Win over on each other. So what do you call this one? This is called as a game. How do we define a game? A game is nothing but it's a confliction of thoughts would be there. What is a confliction of thoughts? So let us take what we called chess itself. Okay, two players will be sitting on each other, isn't it? Facing each other, and they will be observing every opponent person's move carefully. Confliction of thoughts. If person A moves this pawn, what should be my move? Thinking like that by one more player B. Same with the player B, how he is going to move the pawns, the same what you call counter action will be there from the player A also. What do you call these? These are all called confliction of the thoughts, mixing up of the thoughts or ideas. Okay. This is the basic definition of the game theory. Now, when you are thinking of a game theory, here the problems seems to be just like our transportation assignment problems. Yes, here also you will be finding square matrix, rectangular matrix. But on top and below of this one, you will be having the player names like player A, player B. That is the difference. That matrix, whatever is given to you, is known as a payoff matrix. Payoff matrix. So let us hear what is a payoff matrix. The outcome of the playing of the game is known as a payoff matrix. So let us suppose that here this is a payoff matrix. Okay. Now here the player A is there, here the player B is there. Here the Anand, chess player Anand is there, and here let us suppose that what we called famous chess player from Russia is there, Kasparov, Garry Kasparov is there. Okay. And what are the strategies which the Indian player Anand is going to apply? A1, A2, A3, A4. Strategies means ideas, steps. Same way that Garry Kasparov, Russian, is going to apply what kind of strategies? B1, B2, B3, B4. If player A applies A1 strategy, player B applies B1 strategy, what is the value of the game here? 2. Same way, if the player A applies strategy A1, player B applies strategy B4, then what is the value of the game? 0. But you see here, if player A applies strategy A1, player B applies the strategy B3, then the value of the game is -1. Remember that when you are framing the information in terms of the table format, you have to give these values keeping any one of the player in your mind. Most of the time, the player which is there on the RHS side is going to be considered as what we call the player in the context. That means all the values whatever you have provided, which are feeded basing upon the player A in the mind. What is the value of 2? 2 means it's a positive value. It's a gain of the player A. How many units? 2 units. Say the -1 is there. What do you mean by that -1? It's a loss to the player by -1 unit or 1 rupee or 1 crore, whatever may be. But here if it is -1 is there, what is the another player context is going to be? Player B is going to get the benefit. Getting my point? So this is called the representation of the game. Strictly speaking, this game is called as a 2 players game. How many players are there? 2 players are there. This matrix is known as a payoff matrix, and these individual values are known as the payoff values. Okay? So when you solve the game, finally you will give 3 answers. One is called what is the player A strategy, A1, A2, A3 like that. And one more is what is the player B strategy, B1, B2, B3, B4. And also finally what is the value of the game represented by nu. One more Greek letter, nu. Okay. So what do you call this one as? This is the one more definition of the what you call the game. What do you pay off? It's a value or else outcome which is there in the payoff matrix. What is the payoff matrix? Table of or is a matrix of outcomes or payoff values for different strategies of the game. So simply speaking, just like a assignment problem, transportation problem, row wise, column wise values would be there. That is the starting point of the game. Okay. Now you go for the next definition. What is the next definition? 2% zero sum game. What do you mean 2% zero sum game? 2% means if any game is going to be played by only 2 players, you call that 2% game. If the overall final output of the game is 0, what do you call that one as? Zero sum game. Okay. So how do you define if a game being played by 2 players and sum of the gain of one player is equal to sum of the loss of another player, then the game is said to be zero sum game. Now let us see here previously. Let us suppose that the player A applies strategy A1, player B applies strategy B4. What is the value of the game? 0. There is no gain or no loss to the player A. Same way there is no gain or no loss to the player B also. What do you call that? Zero sum game. Okay. Same strategy. What do you mean strategy? It's nothing but idea, approach. Now here, how do you define technically? Strategy means a predetermined rule by which a player decides his course of action from his list. Now, if you see here, A1, A2, A3, all these are all called strategies. Okay. Same way B1, B2, B3, B4 are called all strategies for player B. Okay. These are all predetermined values. Then what is a pure strategy? Pure means opponent players knows the what kind of strategy you are playing before itself. That is, it is a decision in advance of all the players to choose a particular course of action. Okay. Before itself, if you know the opponent action before itself, what do you call that one as a pure strategy. Same way, mixed strategy means there will be, you know, non-deterministic situation. Nobody knows what kind of strategy is going to be played by each one. What do you call that? Such kind of strategy is called as a mixed strategy. Most of the time in the business world you find mixed strategy situations. How do you define it? Is a decision, the advance of all the players to choose a course of action for each player in accordance with some particular probability distribution. So that word probability is there means unknownness is there. Okay? So pure strategy, mixed strategy. So these are the very, very important definitions. So till now what we learned, what we like game? Game means it's a conflicting situation. And the payoff matrix. It's a matrix of values, rows and columns. Strategy, pure and as well as the mixed strategy. Now after discussing that, the one more very, very important definition is what? Saddle point. What is a saddle point? Very, very important. Okay. Before discussing the saddle point, now all of you remember that a game problem or a game sums or any game theory problem is going to be solved in a different stages. The first stage is try to use the saddle point method. If the saddle point method is not possible, then go to the next method, what you call that, the dominance method. Next you go for what you call the algebraic method. Next go for the graphical method. Up to this only you got in the syllabus. And after that so many other techniques are there. Okay, like linear programming problems also can be used to solve a game. So what are the first method? The saddle point method. If you are not getting answer, next apply the next method, what you call that? Dominance method. The next one is algebraic method. The fourth one is the graphical method. Now we go for to understand the saddle point method. First method of the solving of the game. Okay. If in any game maximin is equal to minimax, maximin is equal to minimax, then that game is known as having the saddle point. That corresponding value wherever it lies in that matrix, that row is called the first player strategy, column is the second player best strategy. Okay. What is a saddle point? A saddle point is nothing but it's a very, very important point. So generally you can have the saddle point, okay, when you are riding any horse, isn't it? So when you are sitting on a horse, you will have a special kind of seat, isn't it? That seat is going to be leather made seats would be there. Those seats are going to be what I would say tied to the horse, isn't it? So what you call that? That is called the saddle point. Generally the saddle point is nothing but that point where actually the more focus or more pressure is going to be there. Okay. Now same way here, when you are applying the saddle point method, you are going to identify where actually the entire focus is there in that entire payoff matrix, that single value. How to find that single value? By using maximin or minimax principle. Okay. So here the correction should be there. What is that? Maximin should be there. So inside what is that? Maximin should be there. That should be equal to minimax. Okay. Now how to find the saddle point? First type of what we called game theory problems. What is that? Finding the saddle point. Okay. Now, step 1. How to find the saddle point? Identify minimum value in each row and put the circle for that value. So what you call that n circling. If you put the circle, that activity you are calling as a n circle. Same a column wise identify the largest value and put a square to that value. So what you call that n square. Okay. So row wise minimum value is going to be circled or else n circled. Column wise the maximum value is going to be n squared. Finally, if at all any value is in the circle and as well as the square, that is the answer. What do you call that? The saddle point. That corresponding row is going to be the best strategy for one player. That corresponding column, wherever that value is there, that becomes one more strategy for what you call left out player. So what do you call this method as? This method is known as the saddle point method. So when a game problem is given to you, you have to follow step by step procedure to solve. What is the first method? You apply saddle point method. The second one is apply the dominance method. The third one is algebraic method. The fourth one is the graphical method. So till now what we discussed, the first method of solving the game theory problem. Okay, let us solve a problem here. Okay. Now you see here, this is a problem is given to you, game theory problem. So player A, player B is there. Solve the following game by using saddle point method. So directly is asking apply only saddle point method. But in the exam, what will be there directly? They ask you solve the game. So when solve the game, such a way question is there, you need to follow the steps. First apply the saddle point, next algebraic method. First saddle point, the next one is the dominance method, the next one is the algebraic method, the next one is the graphical method. Now what you are applying now directly, the question is what you call for saddle point identification. You apply the saddle point. So what are the steps? Identify the minimum value in each row. Let us see in the first row, what is the minimum value? 2. So we are encircling that. Okay. Same in the second row, the minimum is 0. We are encircling that, putting a square. The third one, what is that? -1. We are encircling it. Let us see here. Before that, what is the starting point? Generally, you need to write the starting steps like this. Let the game is being played between two players, player A and player B. Okay. Now, so here the strategies are not given. So when strategies are not given, ourselves we assume as A1, A2, A3 for player A, B1, B2, B3 for player B. So these are general lines for starting any problem. Now what is the step 1? Row wise encircle the minimum values. You see here row wise I encircled minimum values. So comment I wrote here just like transportation assignment problems. Okay. Now step 2, column wise n square the highest values. In this column, what is the highest value? 2. I am n squaring it. Highest value 5 in the second column, n squaring it. And third one, 8, I am n squaring it. Let us see what happened. See. So squares are there, circles are there, but only one point is there where the 2, that is the answer is 2, which is there in the circle and as well as the square, which is called the saddle point. So this box represents which row? A1 strategy. Here it represents B1 strategy. So what are the best strategy for player A? A1 strategy. For player B, B1 strategy. Then what is the value of the game? 2. So this is a positive 2. That means it's a gain to the player A who is there in the what we call left hand side margin. Okay. Now what is the answer? You check now. Okay, so this is called the solution. The best strategy for player A is A1. So in the flower bracket I am writing all A1 strategy values 2, 5, 7. Best strategy for player B is B1. What is that? So 2, 1, minus 1. What is the value? 2. So the value of the game is 2. This notation is called nu. It's not the lowercase alphabet r, but it's a nu. What do you call it? Notation nu. So what do you call this one as? Nu. Okay, 2. So what is the value of the game? Value of the game that is equal to 2. That is 2 units gained to the player A. That units might be lakhs, crores, whatever may be that. Okay. So what you call this is known as what you call the first method of the game theory. So what you are calling this method? Saddle point method. So row wise we are encircling. Column wise we are squaring. The value which is there in the circle and as well as the square is going to be the answer of the game. That is the saddle point. Understand? Now after understanding the first method, saddle point method, now we go for the next method. What we call that? The dominance method. Now we go for the next method of solving the game. What we call that one as a dominance principle. Dominance in the sense domination only. Okay. The powerful person always dominates the weaker person. When a big vehicle comes opponent to you, so if you are riding a small bike, you will give way to the big vehicle. What do you call that one as a dominance. An officer dominates his subordinate. Understand? Same way here also. Okay. Till now you came to know the basic structure of the game. A square or rectangular matrix would be there. Left hand side, marginal cell, what will be there? Player A, and topmost player B would be there. But remember that the player A is always a negative mindset player. The player B is a what you call a positive mindset player. I mean to say the player A is a pessimistic player, the player B is the optimistic player. So generally, whichever player we write on the left hand side margin, we assume that that player is going to win. But what I said, the player A, though we write most of the times on the left hand side margin, his approach will be pessimistic. He knows that he is going to win, but he thinks that he is going to win only the minimum amount. But the player is an optimistic player. He knows that anyhow he is going to defeat. But still he is ready to what you call lose maximum money also. Understand? This is the basic lines you need to understand when you go for a dominance principle. That means you know very well in a game theory, okay? So rows are what you called player A strategies. Columns are player B strategies. Okay. Now let us see here, solve the following game by using a dominance principle. Let us suppose this is the question. These are rows. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Now the player A is a pessimistic player. He chooses only that row with minimum values. And all other rows is going to what you call forgo. That means those becomes unused rows, unused strategy. We remove that. Same way, if it comes to the player B point of view, he will select that column with the maximum value, and other columns are going to be what you call unuseful to the player B. So let us see here. I am comparing the first row and second row. In the first row, the value is going to be 3. Okay. And now here the 5. So the player B chooses between these two, what to call the 3. Because which is less? 5, 6. The player A chooses only 5. Because which is less? But here 4, 2. The player A chooses what to call the row 2. That means mismatch is happening. So if you compare row 1 and row 2, it's very, very difficult to identify. Again comparing row 1 with the row 3. So 3, 2, the player chooses third row. 5, 1, the player A chooses third row. 4, 4, so you will be here only because both are same. Now 2, 0, that means you will be here only. That means according to the player A's point of view, 2, 1, 4, 0, that is the row 3 or else the strategy 3 is dominating strategy 1. Why? Because the player A chooses only the minimum values. That means the row 1 will be deleted. The remaining matrix we write. Same way, if you observe the column wise. So such a way is solved. Such kind of method is called as a dominance principle. So let us see here what happened. The problem is given and we named the what you call strategies A1, A2, A3, A4, B1, B2, B3, B4. Okay. The strategy names are given. Now applying strategies. Always generally we start from player A only. So what is that? So player, okay, what is that? Here for player A, A3 values are more than that of the strategy A4. A3, A4. Okay. So here based upon the principles, what happens? Rows will be cancelled, columns will be cancelled. Okay. Based upon the dominating principle. And finally, you are going to left out with a single value. Getting my point? So wherever that single value is there, that corresponding strategy is going to be the best strategy for that player. So A3, B2. So what is the answer? So best strategy for player A is A3. Best strategy for player B is B2. So what do you call this? Dominance principle. Now, after dominance principle, we go for the third method, what we call this arithmetic method. So in arithmetic method, the first intention should be, we have to convert the given, whatever the size of the payoff matrix, into a 2 by 2 matrix by using what we call different methods. So generally dominance principle will be used. And finally the 2 by 2 matrix notations you write here P11, P12, P21, P22, X1, X2, Y1, Y2 like this, and we are going to have the formula like this. For X1, what is that? P22, P21 by the same same denominator. So for x2, how to write? x2 starting here. So p11 minus p12 whole divided by opposite values, p11 plus p22 minus p21 plus p1. Same way for y1. So what is the y1? So p22 minus p12 wherever y1 starts. So this is the technique to remember this formula. 5 formulae are there. Algebraic method means 5 formulae. Okay. So if you change this y1, y2, x1, x2 and arrow marks directions, very difficult, you will get the wrong notation. So you have to remember this one. First one is p11, p12, p21, p22. So from tail to head x2, below in opposite direction x1. So by using algebraic method, okay, we are going to get these 4 values. How to apply the method? Arithmetic method or else algebraic method, both are same. We need to convert the given payoff matrix into a 2 by 2 payoff matrix. Okay. Now let us see one example. So this is the problem and we are converting into a 2 by 2 game. 2 rows, 2 columns by using dominance principle. Row wise, column wise, go on reducing. Okay. And finally what is there? A 2 by 2 matrix we get. So further it cannot be reduced. So this we are putting p11, p12, giving notations. What is the formula for x1? p22 minus p21. So p22 minus p21. So 8 minus 4. So 8 minus 0. Okay. So x1, x2, y1, y2, y3, y4. So you have to write the answer based upon the situation. So solution, best strategy for player A is, best strategy for player B is, and value is mu is equal to b3. This method is called arithmetic method or algebraic method. Now we go for the last method. What is the graphical method? Through the graph, if you get the answer, this is called the graphical method. Now here, when you are going to apply, when only 2 rows are there, m columns are there. Whereas n rows are there, 2 columns are there. 2 by m or m by 2 matrix. In such kind of games, we apply the what is called graphical method. So here what is that? How many rows? 2 rows only, but more number of columns. Here you can apply the graph. So how to get? So you are going to calculate the expected frequencies. So by using what? Product x1 plus 2x2. Simplification. For each column you are going to calculate. This information we show on the graph. So these 2 are columns. Lines represents what we called for strategy player A. So player A strategies. So whatever values are there we are denoting. So for player A means bottom to up, the lower dot we are going to identify. What the corresponding line represents. So that you are going to have the 2 by 2 matrix finally. Again we are going to apply arithmetic method. So what do you call this one? This is called the graphical method. Okay, I'll forward this material. So this is your game theory problems. So if you practice, it's very easy to understand. Okay. Thank you so much.